Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your entire relationship with food is about to change. For as long as you can remember, you've been told that 3 meals a day are the foundation of a healthy lifestyle. Breakfast to start your metabolism, lunch to keep your energy up, and dinner to restore your body after a long day. Snacks in between were never questioned, sometimes even encouraged. Food has always been a constant presence, breaking up your day into predictable intervals. Now picture this. You decide to eat just 1 meal a day, not 3, not 2, just 1. For the next 30 days, your body will live through long stretches of fasting, with all of your daily nutrition packed into a single sitting. This approach, called OMAD, short for 1 meal a day, isn't just a diet. It's a challenge to everything you've been taught about eating. At first, the very idea feels daunting. How will you handle hunger? What about work, social events, or family gatherings? What if your energy crashes in the middle of the day? These questions echo in your mind, but alongside them is a sense of curiosity. You've heard that OMAD can sharpen focus, increase fat loss, and reset your relationship with food. You want to know if it's true. You want to see what happens when you push past the routines you've lived with for years. The first day arrives. Morning comes and you skip breakfast. That familiar ritual of coffee paired with toast or cereal is suddenly gone. Instead, it's just coffee, black, unsweetened. Your stomach grumbles, protesting the missing meal. By mid-morning, you feel an emptiness, almost like an itch you can't scratch. Around noon, the craving grows stronger. Friends or colleagues are eating lunch, the smell of food fills the air, and your body screams, "Eat something." But you resist. You remind yourself, not yet. Dinner is my moment. What you soon discover is that hunger doesn't build endlessly. It comes in waves. When one wave peaks, you feel restless and distracted, but then it fades, leaving you calmer than before. You realize that much of what you thought was hunger was actually habit, your body expecting food because it always got food at this time. By late afternoon, you feel surprisingly stable. The growling stomach is still there, but it no longer controls you. Finally, the clock strikes your eating hour. Whether it's 5, 6, or 7 p.m., this moment feels different from every other dinner you've had. You're not just hungry, you're fully aware. The smell of your food is richer, the colors more vivid, the taste more intense. Every bite feels like an event, as though your senses have been reset. Eating becomes a conscious experience rather than a mindless routine. But beyond the taste of food, there's a deeper realization. You've made it through an entire day on just 1 meal. Your body feels lighter, not weighed down by constant digestion. You're tired, yes, but there's also a flicker of pride. The first step is complete. What you don't yet realize is that something beneath the surface is beginning to shift. With each skipped meal, your insulin levels drop, nudging your body to tap into stored energy. The glycogen reserves in your liver begin to deplete, and fat metabolism slowly turns on. Your cells are entering a new rhythm, one you've never truly experienced before. The journey has only just begun. The first few days of OMAD feel like walking a tightrope between curiosity and discomfort. Your body, used to being fed every few hours, protests loudly. By day 2 or 3, you may feel lightheaded in the mornings, your stomach growling more aggressively than before. The thought of food seems to follow you everywhere, on TV ads, in the smell of someone else's lunch, even in idle conversations. But here's the fascinating part. With each day that passes, the hunger pangs begin to change. They don't disappear, but they become less commanding. Hunger no longer feels like an emergency. It becomes a background hum, something you notice but can ignore. It's a revelation. You start to see hunger, not as a weakness, but as a wave that rises and falls, and you are learning to surf it. By midweek, your relationship with food is already shifting. When the eating window finally arrives, that single meal feels sacred. It isn't just fuel, it's an experience. You find yourself slowing down, chewing carefully, noticing textures and flavors you had taken for granted before. That simple act of eating transforms into gratitude. After waiting all day, every bite feels like a small celebration. Socially, though, things get tricky. A friend asks you to join for lunch and you decline. At a family gathering, people raise eyebrows when you pass on breakfast. Someone jokes, "What's the point of living if you don't eat?" You laugh it off, but the truth is, you're testing your limits. You're stepping outside the shared rhythm of society, where food is not just nourishment, but connection. This forces you to answer a deeper question. Are you willing to be different for the sake of discipline? Physically, Your body is working overtime to adapt. Insulin levels are dropping, forcing your cells to switch energy sources. Instead of relying on constant glucose, you're beginning to tap into stored fat. On a cellular level, something remarkable is happening. Autophagy, the process of cellular cleanup, activates recycling old, damaged cells to make way for newer, healthier ones. You might not see this change in the mirror yet, but it's occurring silently, giving your body a form of internal spring cleaning. The mental shifts are equally profound. Some mornings you feel sluggish, as if your body is dragging itself through unfamiliar territory. But other times, especially toward the end of the first week, you notice sharper focus. Without the mid-afternoon crash caused by heavy lunches, your mind seems clearer. Instead of planning your day around food, you suddenly have hours back. Hours once spent preparing meals, eating, or cleaning up. That time is now yours, and the freedom is intoxicating. By the 7th day, you've crossed a threshold. What once felt impossible, surviving on just one meal, now feels strangely normal. The hunger waves are manageable, your energy is stabilizing, and your discipline is solidifying. You've proven to yourself that the human body is more adaptable than you ever believed. Still, questions remain. How long can this last? Will the benefits grow stronger, or will the challenges pile up? At the end of week 1, you stand at the edge of the unknown. The journey is far from over. This is just the foundation. The next weeks will reveal whether OMAD is simply a test of willpower or a doorway to transformation. By the start of the 2nd week, something shifts. The chaos of the first days, the gnawing hunger, the irritability, the constant mental chatter about food, begins to fade into the background. Instead of fighting your body, you notice that your body is starting to cooperate. The transition from struggle to adaptation has quietly begun. One of the first signs is the disappearance of constant hunger. It doesn't vanish completely, but the sharp pangs soften into something manageable. Sometimes you even forget you're fasting until late in the afternoon. What once felt like deprivation now feels strangely normal. You've trained your body to function in a new rhythm, and your system is responding with unexpected efficiency. Energy levels begin to stabilize too. In the first week, mornings often felt like a slow crawl through molasses. But now, you wake up lighter, more alert. Your body is no longer relying on the roller coaster of constant glucose spikes. Instead, it's tapping into a steady source of energy, your fat stores. The result? A cleaner, more sustainable flow of fuel for your daily activities. This physical adaptation comes with mental benefits. Your focus sharpens. Tasks that once seemed dull now feel easier to complete, without the distraction of constant snacking. You don't spend energy deciding what to eat or when to eat, it's already decided. That mental clarity is a revelation. By simplifying food choices, you've freed up space in your mind for creativity, work, or reflection. But adaptation isn't just about energy and focus. It's also about identity. By week 2, you've proven to yourself that you can break free from the traditional eating structure. You no longer feel chained to breakfast at 8, lunch at 12, and dinner at 7. This realization carries power. You are not controlled by habit. You control the habit. That sense of mastery extends beyond food. You start asking yourself, if I can do this with eating, what else in my life can I reshape? Still, it's not all smooth sailing. There are days when fatigue sneaks back in, when cravings suddenly flare up. Sometimes it's emotional hunger rather than physical. Stress at work, boredom at home, or seeing others indulge. These moments test your resolve. You begin to realize that OMAD is not just a physical challenge, it's psychological. Food has always been comfort, distraction, even entertainment. Now that comfort is removed for most of the day, you're forced to face emotions directly. Another layer of adaptation is social. By week 2, people around you notice changes. Some comment that you look leaner or more energized. Others worry that you're being too extreme. You field questions, defend your choice, and sometimes keep quiet just to avoid explaining. Social meals remain the most difficult hurdle, but you begin to discover strategies. Pushing your one meal later to coincide with dinner outings, focusing on drinks instead of food when out with friends, or simply embracing that your path won't always align with others. Physiologically, your body is digging deeper into fat stores, but it's also activating processes most people rarely experience. With long fasting windows, your cells recycle damaged components, inflammation decreases, and insulin sensitivity improves. These changes aren't immediately visible, but you may notice indirect effects. Your skin looks clearer, digestion feels smoother, and bloating diminishes. Even sleep may improve, as your body no longer spends the night processing late-night snacks. By the end of week 2, you feel different. Not just lighter in body, but stronger in willpower. What once seemed impossible has become routine. You're not merely surviving OMAD, you're beginning to thrive in it. And yet, in the back of your mind, a question lingers. If these are the changes after 2 weeks, what transformations still await in the second half of the 30-day journey? By the 3rd week, something remarkable happens. OMAD no longer feels like an experiment. It feels like a lifestyle. The days of fighting hunger and explaining your choices begin to fade. Your body has not only adapted, it has embraced the rhythm of fasting and feeding. What once felt radical now feels natural. The physical changes are the most obvious. Your body feels leaner, lighter, clothes fit differently. Your face may appear slimmer, your energy more stable. The bloating that once followed large meals is gone, replaced by a sense of lightness that lasts throughout the day. Even digestion improves. That single daily meal, though large, no longer overwhelms your system the way scattered meals once did. But the transformation isn't only physical, it's mental. You've broken free from the constant cycle of thinking about food. Breakfast ads on TV, lunch breaks at work, vending machines. All of these once tempted you. Now they barely register. You're no longer a prisoner of cravings. Instead, you eat when you decide. That discipline bleeds into other parts of life. You approach tasks with more focus, handle stress with more clarity, and carry yourself with quiet confidence. There's also a sense of empowerment in simplicity. Grocery shopping takes less time. Meal prep becomes easier. You no longer obsess over what to eat every few hours. That mental space opens doors. You read more, reflect more, and reconnect with hobbies or goals you once neglected. OMAD isn't just reshaping your body, it's reshaping your relationship with time. Yet the final stretch is not without challenges. Around week 3, some experience fatigue again. The body, after weeks of adaptation, occasionally sends mixed signals. Some days you feel unstoppable, other days you feel drained. Sleep can be inconsistent, either deeply restful or frustratingly restless. You also start questioning the sustainability of OMAD. Can you really live like this forever? Or is this just a temporary reset? Socially, the gap between you and others sometimes feels wider. Birthday parties, casual dinners, and holiday events remind you that food is more than fuel. It's culture, connection, and memory. Skipping those experiences can sting. You learn to balance discipline with flexibility, occasionally shifting your eating window or allowing yourself to join in without guilt. This balance becomes a lesson in itself. Health isn't only about rules, it's about living fully. By the 4th week, your body reaches a state of quiet efficiency. Hunger signals are subtle, not loud. Energy is steady. The cravings that once dominated your thoughts are gone. You notice small victories. The ability to fast through an entire morning meeting without distraction. The way a single glass of water feels refreshing instead of inadequate. The pride in knowing you've reprogrammed your habits at a fundamental level. Then comes day 30. You sit down for your one meal, reflecting on the journey. It's more than a plate of food. It's a symbol of discipline, resilience, and growth. You've learned that your body is far more adaptable than you ever believed. You've discovered that hunger is not an enemy, but a messenger, and that simplicity can be a form of power. As you finish that final meal of the challenge, you're left with a choice. Do you continue OMAD as a lifestyle? Do you adjust to something less strict, like 2 meals a day? Or do you return to your old eating habits, now armed with new awareness? Whatever path you choose, one truth remains. The 30-day OMAD journey has changed you. It has shown you that transformation is not just about what you eat, but about how you live. In the end, OMAD is not simply a diet, it's a mirror. It reflects your discipline, your struggles, and your capacity for change. And for those who dare to try it, the experience leaves a lasting mark, long after the 30 days are gone.